let's talk about the pros and cons of staying friends with your ex. And I'm going to be really negative here and start with the cons list, or reasons why you shouldn't stay friends with your ex. Now, I'm going to start by just a little disclaimer here. If you've just broken up with your ex, if your wounds haven't healed and you're still infatuated with them, you're still obsessed with them, you're still going through withdrawal symptoms and seeing yourselves getting back together, then this is definitely not a time to stay friends. This is a time when you need space, when you need to distance yourself from them so that you can move on, so that you can heal, so that you can actually process your emotions and what you've been through, to decide whether a relationship with them is what you actually want or whether you're just doing it out of romantic need or insecurity. Number one. So what are the cons of staying friends with your ex? Well, I guess the number one thing, the most obvious, is that it can prevent you from moving on. And I understand, our ex can be like this warm, amazing blanket. Like, they know you, they know your flaws, they know all your faults. They've seen you first thing in the morning, girls with no makeup on. They've loved you warts and all. They've loved your body. They've accepted you. It can be hard to give that up. It can be hard to give that up, that emotional security you've had with somebody who you feel understands you totally and completely and has accepted you just as you are. It can be really difficult to let go of that. But by the same token, if we still have that in our lives and we're holding on to that, that can prevent us from moving on. It can also make it difficult for you to attract another relationship. Because from somebody coming into the relationship, you're still in a quasi-relationship. Yes, you might not have the physical intimacy involved with a sexual relationship, but you're still getting some of your needs fulfilled, if it's a deep friendship, by another person. And that can make it difficult for somebody else to come in. Now, this can create problems in your new relationship, particularly if you don't leave enough space for your new person to come in, or if you inadvertently perhaps are actually comparing them to your last relationship over and over and over again, or if your ex is always there because you want them there because you're your friend, not because they need to be there because you've got children or whatnot. And that can cause a lot of resentment in a relationship. Staying friends with your ex can also affect your self-esteem, your identity, and your confidence, particularly if you're stuck in either the blame game or the what if only game. So what is the what if only game? It's something that we do to ourselves, right? What if I'd been more attentive? What if I was skinnier? What if I was more intelligent? What if we'd had sex more often, These can keep us firmly placed in the past. But seeing your ex every day and seeing them in a different dynamic, one where you don't have the day-to-day struggles of relationships or the expectations on one another, can bring that to the surface. It can be like, well, actually, we are fantastic friends. Maybe we could have made it work. What if I go again, but this time I'm happier. This time I don't let my anxiety get the better of me. This time I communicate my problems. This time when I have a problem, I just don't say anything and I go along with it. We start rationalizing that we can make it work. The truth is, when we break up for a reason. You don't break up for the sake of it. Nobody puts themselves through that. If you broke up with somebody, it means that fundamentally there was something that wasn't quite working in a relationship, that one or both of you weren't getting your needs met, that there were issues that you couldn't work through. But if you don't allow yourself space to heal, it can be easy to forget that. We put our rose-colored glasses on and we can forget what it was that didn't work in the relationship in the first place. Last but not least, particularly if you were the one who got dumped, staying friends with your ex can bring up a lot of negative feelings, can trigger a lot of negative feelings, feelings like confusion, hurt, disappointment, resentment. It can also bring out this desperate need for closure or perhaps to get them back again. And that is not healthy for you, and it's not going to help you to move on with your life. A lot of people think that it's much easier to stay friends if you're the one who did the breaking up or you're the one who dumped the other. But even if you're the one who ended the relationship, you're not in for an easy ride. There's a lot of guilt associated with being friends with an ex. At the end of the day, you are going to be confronted, perhaps daily, with the fact that you broke somebody else's heart, that you shattered their dreams. And the reality is that you will be able to see and feel the love that they still have for you. And that's not easy to deal with. That's why a lot of people choose, and perhaps rightly so, to actually not see their ex for a long time so that they don't need to deal with the guilt. Because guilt isn't easy to handle. Now that we've talked about the cons of staying friends with your ex, let's talk about some of the benefits. Because if you can actually take a break, give yourself space to heal, and then remain friends and rebuild this relationship, you might just have a friend for life. But please be aware, particularly if you were best friends to begin with, you don't necessarily need to lose the friendship, but you do need to understand that that friendship is going to be different. It's going to feel different. It's going to look different. It's going to be a whole different dynamic. And that's something that you're both going to have to be prepared to work on. Staying friends with your ex can also give you a sense of security. After all, they know everything about you and they still love you, right? They've seen you at your best, your worst. They've accepted you warts and all. But this can be a good thing and a bad thing depending on where you're at. If you're in a really emotionally and psychologically stable place where you feel good about yourself without your ex, where you feel ready to move on with your life, where you've dealt with the issues and the heartbreak that came after the breakup, where you can see your ex and not have these feelings that you want to get back with them or see them with rose-colored glasses on. If you can actually have them in your life as a friend, then that sense of security is a positive. It's a good thing, right? It's just like another amazing friend to have in your support network. But as we've mentioned before, if you're coming from a place of insecurity, of not feeling worthy, of not feeling enough, of needing them, then that is going to be detrimental, and then it's not a benefit. Last but not least, and depending on the kind of friendship that you then develop with your ex, having honest feedback about how you come across and what you're like in relationships can be really beneficial, and it can help you to create a really amazing and strong foundation for future relationships if you're prepared to hear it.